Let me ask you a question, and you can answer in the comments below. Who is your idol? The person you look up to the most right now. The person you think is absolutely and completely the best at doing what they do or at being who they are. Maybe it's an athlete, a YouTuber, an older sibling, a rapper, a parent, a designer, or someone at your school. My idol when I was your age was a guy named Rob Manley. He was my student pastor. Pretty much, he was the dad that I never had. He took me hiking, fishing, taught me how to play bass guitar, and of course, tried to teach me about God and how God could better my life. I remember always wishing that he would marry my mom so that I could finally have a dad. So maybe your idol looks different than mine. Maybe the person you look up to the most right now has a different talent or career or personality than mine did. But still, we all know what it's like to idolize someone so much that we want to be just like them. The problem? Well, we eventually realize that our own lives, our talents, our skills, our fame, it will just never measure up compared to theirs. In this series, we've been talking a lot about comparison. Comparison is when we measure this in our lives to that in their lives. And often, whether we realize it or not, this is what we're doing with people we idolize or look up to. So maybe you love Billie Eilish and want to be a singer, just like she is. But when you compare your talent to hers, you just don't feel that you measure up. Or maybe you love Steph Curry, but when you look at his scoring record next to your own, you don't feel like you'll ever be able to be as good as he is. See, here's what makes comparison like this tricky. Looking up to someone or being inspired to be like someone isn't a bad thing. It can actually be a great thing. It can motivate you to work hard or make positive changes in your life or try to reach new goals. The problem comes when we measure our lives next to theirs. We think that in order to be enough, we have to achieve what they have achieved. Do what they have done. Become like they are. As middle schoolers, I think you know exactly how this feels. Because every single day, you see someone you could compare yourself to. A kid at school, a girl in your small group, a boy on your team, even a best friend or older sibling. On your own, you feel okay about who you are and the way that your life looks. But as soon as you compare your life and you're this to their that and their life, well, just like that, the comparison causes you to feel like you're not enough. You're not cool enough, smart enough, attractive enough, talented enough, rich enough, funny enough, popular enough, good enough. Well, we all know what it feels like to struggle to reach an impossible standard, to measure ourselves up to something we'll never be able to reach. And if we do get that thing, if we do finally like or feel like we're enough in one part of our lives, well, there's a new piece of ourselves that we'll realize falls short just as fast. It's a vicious cycle. And the more we feel we don't measure up compared to someone else, the more we start to feel insecure, unhappy, and anxious. So the question is this: are we always gonna feel this way? Will we ever feel like we're enough? To help us with this, we're gonna take a look at something that Paul wrote. So here's what Paul had to say. Paul told them right away not to copy the people around them, not to try to be the same as the people they were comparing themselves to, for better or for worse. By letting God transform the way that we think when we choose to follow God, He changes us into a new person and gives us a new way of thinking. We start to understand what He says is true about us and how He sees us. See, changing the way you think allows you to start living out God's plan for your life. It takes your eyes off someone else's life and focuses them firmly on what He has for you and who He has created you to be. It helps you understand how much He values you because God wants us to see ourselves the way that He sees us. A few verses later, Paul went on to say this. I love the way he puts this so much. When we're comparing ourselves to others, our focus is on one thing, what we are not. Because of that, we never feel like we're enough. And when we keep our eyes on that, we miss out on being able to see who we are and what we really do have. In other words, God wants us to see ourselves the way that He sees us. Believing this truth has the potential to change the way that you see yourself. It has the power to help you change your thinking, to keep you from comparing, to help you realize that you are enough. So, to start, try this. For some of you, this will be easier than for others. So maybe for you, the best place to start is to remember and write down the truth we're talking about this week. God wants us to see ourselves the way He does. Write that somewhere, you'll see it every day. Let that be the place that you start to change your thinking and replace your thoughts. And over time, you'll begin to see God open your eyes to more amazing things about who you are and how He created you. You'll begin to see that in Him, you are enough. God knows you're amazing. And you know who else thinks you're pretty great? Me and all the student leaders. We think you're all amazing. We're here for you, and we hope you see that we're here for you and we love you. And we hope to see you at the landing this Friday at 7 p.m. Please hit me up for the Zoom link either on my Instagram or on my email. That's one area. And until I see you again, I need you to think about this. What's one area of your life where you need God's help to see that you're enough? All right, guys.